Good evening and welcome back to another episode of AAL2 Turf Talk. We have a very special episode tonight as we're going to introduce you to two of the new teams for the 2026 season. We're going to kick this show off with the New Jersey Eagles, and we've got Coach Zay, the owner and head coach.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
For now.
So I kind of wanted to just give you the floor a little bit to introduce your team and kind of give us the idea on how it came together. What led to you deciding to start a team and what brings you kind of where you're at today?
Okay. I'm Zay, former player. I've been coaching and been an owner for 2 seasons now, 2 years. Started outdoor, 11 man, semi-pro. And I had got introduced to arena like really last year. When I was on the coaching staff of a Jersey team last year, and then I was just like so intrigued. I'm like, nah, yeah, let me bring the Eagles indoor. So like from there, it was just like full steam ahead. Like, yeah, this is where I'm going, and this is what I'm going to be doing.
Gotcha. So when did the Eagles originally start then?
Last fall.
Okay. And you originally, like you said, started 11-man outdoor. And then, if you don't mind me asking, which team did you coach with last season in Jersey?
The New Jersey Roughnecks.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Very nice. Very nice. Those guys had quite the season last year, so it was kind of fun, awesome to see how it started and how they were able to finish. It was very inspiring, honestly. So, so looking at the 2026 season, tell me a little bit about what brought you to the AAL2, other than obviously the desire to go indoors. Was there ever any other league in consideration, or was it all AAL2 for you?
No, I was just all AAL2, honestly. Just like watching, I watched the Bearcats, and then like being a part of the season last year for the time when I was, it was just interesting. It was fun, it was exciting. It was fast paced, and it was just like I was just wondering why I never played indoor when I was playing, but yeah, it was definitely interesting. I've seen it before. I just never really even had like the urge to play it, honestly. And then, just seeing it like firsthand last year, I was just like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, let me put this on my bucket list. Like, let's get this done over here too. And that's what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Talk to me a little bit about your coaching staff. Who else is on the staff other than yourself?
So the president, Wendell Washington, Lester Cream, he's gonna be Mr. Everything. A lot of people in the football world know him, Mr. Everything. Um, Miss Robin Owens, she's gonna be in the front office. Wooch Woods is our OC. And Wendell Bates is our DC. Um, Coach Dreddy, he's coming on in the front office. Um, it's more. It's a lot more. I'm drawing a blank right now. But yeah, those are like what we have in place right now. We got our OC, got our DC. We filling out some position coaches. Um, yeah, we ready.
That's a pretty robust staff for the AAL2, and honestly, that's always a good thing. I think that gives the players the best possible chance to develop, which is what it's all about, right? So, talk to me a little bit. I mean, obviously, you said you started in semi-professional outdoor football. Obviously, same kind of thought process. You're kind of working to develop players for a bigger purpose. How have you kind of been able to help guys, grow as players and also men off the field?
Oh, that's what we aiming to do. We got a couple guys who we were gonna sign to our arena team, and they're playing with us currently, like outdoor, and they already got contracts to play with higher leagues. So that's what we doing. We got the film for the guys. If you need it, we give it to you. We even have people who can put together like little tapes for you and stuff like that. So you can send the teams. So that's really what we're about, is getting them out of their current situations into a better one. Like we're just a stepping stone for them to get where they're trying to get to. I don't plan on half of these guys being with me the entire season because some of them gonna get some calls, and that's more like a test to what we putting on the field. So yeah, that's the goal, is to get guys up there. Until we get up there, then I ain't trying to get nobody up. But yeah, until then, is to get those guys into those bigger stages.
Absolutely. So you kind of alluded to it a little bit. So you have eventual goals to go to the professional level as a team.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's the ultimate goal. You don't want to just stay stagnant. You know what I mean? So we're gonna build as much as we gotta build, and continue to expand the organization and just become as professional as we need to be, and get to the goal that we need to get to for it to become a professional, top tier league team in the top tier league. So yeah, that's the goal, man. But
Makes
right
perfect
now,
sense.
I'm focused on AL too.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, obviously, with those goals of growth, I'm sure it comes, a need for sponsorships and partners. So,
Yes,
with
sir.
that, thought in mind, where can potential sponsors and partners find you to reach out if this is something they want to support?
NewJerseyEagles.com. And you can email us at NewJerseyEagles24@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, New Jersey Eagles, Facebook, New Jersey Eagles. We got a TikTok. I don't control that. Uh, and I believe a Twitter. Might be New Jersey Eagles too. I don't really be on Twitter and TikTok, so I really don't know. But yeah, we got all of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you're a potential sponsor in the New Jersey area looking to, find a way to help some arena football teams, why not reach out to the New Jersey Eagles and
So
see if you can't jump on board and develop a nice little partnership there. But have you begun to sign any players for the 2026 season as of yet?
yeah, we have. Yeah, we
Um,
have.
Tell me about a couple guys that you feel fans should be excited about this season.
Quarterback, Damian Doggett. Dude is electric. It's electric. Of course, wide receiver Darnell Wideman, Dylan Rika, another wide receiver, great route runner, possession catcher. Um, he just had like a 60, 70-yard bomb this past weekend. Dylan Rika. Um, Defensively, D line, I like Dylan Washington. Um, mm, Linebackers, I like Jesse Ajavon. Primo Pierce. I got my eyes like he playing with us right now. Um, it's a lot of people, man. It's a lot of people, man. And I don't want to. I feel bad if I miss somebody. Um,
You're
Jesus.
good. I don't want to put you too much on the spot. You've already named quite a few
Yeah,
players.
I named a lot of people, but yeah,
Yep.
no, we got our eyes on a lot of people. Um, we're just trying to build the best roster to compete.
Love it. Love it. One question I wanted to ask you. I mean, obviously, the AAL2, if you look across the league, is very regionally based, which I'm sure is, part of the attraction for a team owner to come in because obviously travel is going to be very advantageous.
Mhm.
Um, so, I mean, how big of a factor was that for you in particular as a team owner, that the AAL2 is so logistically minded, so to speak?
I mean, I actually like it. It's not bad. It's fun. It's a good travel. It's able for us to get a little bus and go 5-6 hours sometimes. Have a little fun together as a team. So it's nothing too strenuous. Nothing that can't be done. And just from being with the team last year, I seen AJ did a really good job of like making sure everybody was like accommodated the way they needed to be. So yeah, it's gonna be good, man. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. So with that, obviously comes some regional playing partners and some potential rivalries. Obviously you've got the in-state rival with the Tri-State Panthers. How important was some of that stuff, and has there been any talks between you and the Panthers on how you guys can kind of hype up that rivalry as a group?
Uh, when it comes to that, I mean, it ain't really much that got to be said about that because there's people on the outside that's going to make the rivalry itself, So as far as me, I don't have any clickbait on that. I don't. Is the rivalry is going to happen on its own. Um, just for the close proximity. Some of the players that we may have shared over the past couple seasons. So you know, yeah, I'm not going to edge that on, but
Oh no, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to
no,
imply
no,
that.
no, no. I'm not. I just know that like that's gonna be a easy like clickbait type of situation just because of the distance between each other. So yeah, I'm expecting people to make that like the rivalry, but
Of
I'm just
course.
here to play football, man.
Of course, of course. Obviously there's many other teams, regionally that you guys will end up playing.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh Outlaws, Steel City Stampede, Maryland War
Hmm.
Eagles, as well as the Virginia Legion, which have come in 2026, which we'll be talking to here in this episode as well.
Right.
Obviously those aren't in-state rivalries, but obviously regional rivalries. So I think those are going to get some hype as well, I imagine.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, on another side of things, we talked about the developmental aspect of the AAL2 a couple moments ago and how important it is for you to be able to provide opportunities for you guys to move up. With that in mind, how big of a factor to you is it that the AAL is now back in 2026, and how big of a draw was that for you as a developmental owner currently?
Um, I mean, it was big, like, and just hearing some of the things that's going to happen for the players. Um, you know, Nothing was posted publicly yet, so I won't be the first. But just some of the things that the league is doing, and some of the ways that they're helping the organizations, and just kind of like making sure that we all on like almost a level playing field. It kind of makes it a little easier for us a little bit, and then it just also makes it more attractive to the players that the league is more involved. It's just not just this is the league, here's the rules, and just go play football. So I really like what the league is doing. I can't wait for everybody else to start hearing some of the things that he got going on. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a really, really exciting season. Um, yeah, I'm excited for some of the things that's about to happen, especially for the players.
You are not the only one, my friend. I am very excited for the 2026 season as well.
Yeah,
I think some of the stuff coming is going to really have fans excited, and I can't wait for some of the announcements to come.
yeah,
Trust me, if you're watching this, you're going to enjoy some of the stuff coming. Um, man, we've talked about the coaching staff, some of the players you guys have brought in.
mm.
Your draw to the AAL2. Is there anything you want to kind of leave fans with as we kind of let you go for the evening?
Just go Birds. Just stay tuned. We're gonna be exciting, man. That's all. Just stay tuned.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight, sir. Very excited for 2026 for you, the Eagles, and all the other teams
Appreciate
that have
it.
joined the league as of right now. I mean, honestly, looks like one of the strongest seasons in a long time for most arena
Yeah,
leagues. So, very intrigued for this season. But thank you so much for your time, and
no problem.
look forward to speaking to you more this season.
Yes, sir. Go Birds.
Absolutely. All right. We just spoke with the New Jersey Eagles. Here soon, we're going to transition over to the Carolina Aviators, which have been will join the league for the 2026 season as well. They are another one of the expansion teams for this season that have obviously a regional playing partner in the Carolina Predators as well. So another in-state rivalry to be formed going into 2026, which should tune in to be a very very awesome rivalry between the two teams. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Doing well. And obviously your name says Carolina Aviators, but what can people call you as an individual?
Just call me, they just call me Coach Marrow. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha. Okay, Coach. So happy to have you on tonight. I know we've kind of been talking about this for a while now. Recently connected with you on Facebook, but I'm excited to have you join the AAL2 for 2026. So let's
Appreciate it.
kind of back up all the way to the beginning for the Aviators. When was this team first formed, and how can fans find you on social media?
Oh, wow. We actually were first formed it was 2018. And we was part of the EIF, the Elite Indoor Football League. That was our first year as formed as an organization. And they just went from there, kind of like took a few years off. And then talked with some people and talked with some of my guys, and they wanted to bring it back, so we ended up bringing it back. So here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you said you initially played in the Elite Indoor Football League. Was that also arena style rules, or was that indoor style rules?
It was indoor style. It was also indoor style itself.
Very nice, very nice. So 2-man motion, no jack limitations, all that.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit about your coaching staff this season. What will your role be, and who else will be on the staff?
Well, my role is I'll be the offensive coordinator. That's Coach Marrow. Then I got Coach Larry Green. He'll be my assistant head coach and my D coordinator. And then I brought in another veteran, Terrell Carwin. He'll be the wide receiver coach and the co-offensive coordinator. And then I brought in Coach Dozier. He was actually with me when we first started the Aviators the first time. He would be my linebacker coach and a special team coach. So the coaching staff that I actually brought in, if you go back to the D coordinator, Coach Green, he was with, he's been around arena football. He actually played arena football in Fayetteville, North Carolina with the Cape Fear Heroes and the Fayetteville Guards. And so he's been around it a lot. So he's a real strong guy on the defensive side. He actually played corner, and he played a little bit of linebacker in that segment. And then Coach Terrell, he's just been in the coaching staff he's been in the coaching segment for a long time. He was with he did some work with the Carolina Cobras, and then he did some work with the Torch, the Raleigh Torch. So he's been around the arena game, and he's done a lot of work with minor league football itself. And then myself, oh my gosh, my history is too long. I started playing arena football in West Virginia, left there. Then I ended up going overseas to Germany, came back. My dad with the Carolina Cobras, the Raleigh Rebels, Winston-Salem Energy, Cape Fear, Wildcats, Carolina Speed. I've been around it a lot.
Basically, more or less every team that's been in Carolina, it sounds like.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
If you look at it that way, yeah, exactly.
But hey, that's kind of awesome. I mean, because if you think about it, now you're bringing a team back to the region. You've got very deep ties to the region. I'm sure you've got connections throughout, and hopefully that builds up quite the hype for the team.
Yeah, exactly. It will.
So have you guys begun to sign players for the 2026 season as of yet?
We haven't started signing yet. We have a few on the bubble that we're waiting on right now. Hopefully by the middle of next month, we're going to start doing some signings then, and posting up signings and letting everybody know who signed. If you want to keep up with that, you can reach us on Instagram at Carolina_Aviators. And then you can reach us on Facebook, Carolina Aviators. We do a lot of posting on there, and giving out a lot of information about what we're doing, how we're doing, and what's going on with the organization.
Absolutely. With that involved, I imagine there's still tryouts to come throughout this off season.
Yeah, it is. We just had one this past weekend. It was actually it was pretty good. Not a bad turnout. Had some promising stars in there. We had a good safety to come out of it. We had two good receivers to come out of it. We had a good linebacker, a good running back that come out of it. So it was a real good workout. So we hope to we're going to bring them into the next tryout and just see how, they don't have their first taste of the workout, see how they do in the second workout, and we're going to go from there.
There you go. There you go. Always a productive workout if you can find some players you believe are good enough to make the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Not always the case, obviously. When did you initially become aware of the AAL2?
Well, when I first got started, I was coaching in the AAL when it first started. It goes all the way back to when the I can't even remember the commissioner. God rest his soul. He had passed away, and it was taken over by a gentleman. I can't remember his name. So I was a part of the AAL back then when it had about 15 teams, and then AJ and them, they end up buying the rights for the AAL, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. So they started the AAL2 and went from there. And I like what they were doing, the organization itself, how they were putting everything back together and just bringing it back to the old school, the original arena rules, with the one high and the backer and everything. And you can utilize the tight end. And, they kind of like brought the original feel of the arena football game itself back. And by them doing that, that made it feel a lot more arena-like football. So, it's just been a blessing being with them and just growing with them as an organization.
Absolutely. And rest in peace to Jack Bowman, the former commissioner that passed away.
Yes.
So, obviously the AAL2 or the AAL and the AAL2 has a rich history that has kind of brought them to this point. So with that being said, obviously you had experience with the AAL previously. How big of a factor was the AAL coming back in 2026 in your decision to bring the Aviators to the AAL2?
It really wasn't a big decision. It was an easy decision because of the fact is when you look at all these leagues that were coming up and then shutting down, teams popping up, teams shutting down. When you look at what AJ did with the AAL2, and it's been consistent for going on 4 years now, and steady growing. And I think this is the biggest growth I've seen in the AAL. And then the blessing of it was with the Columbus Lions and the West Virginia Miners coming over. If a lot of people know about the arena game, if it goes all the way back to when you had the AFL, and then you had the Arena 1, and then you had the Arena 2. So you had that kind of like that farm system for the Arena 2 to be able to go into the Arena 1. So it kind of like brought that feel back to it. So that made it was an easy decision. It was a very, very easy decision.
Love it. Obviously what this is all about is developing players and, making them better as players, but also as men, hopefully off the field and more professional as they move up.
Definitely. Yes, definitely.
But I personally think those ties to the AL are going to be incredibly important for the players that are signing with the AL2 teams, because you have a guarantee that you're going to be seen by professional eyes.
Exactly.
So it makes perfect sense. So one thing I love about the AL2 and the AL, and this is something I just talked to the Virginia Legion about, is that it's very regionally based. So some of the travel can be very nice for you guys. Obviously, you got the Predators there in Carolina as well. And then you also have Peach State Cats, which are not terribly far away, and Tri-City Rivergators, as well as some other teams in that region. How important was for you as a team owner to bring the team over?
That was a big part of it, because when you look at a lot of the other arena leagues, the travel is what's killing the leagues. You know what I mean? If you look at the IFL, it's a great league. It's been around for years. I always say it's kind of like the GOAT of arena football itself. And you look at when they first started, you look at how their region travel was, with Sioux City and North Dakota and South Dakota, and you had all those regions that were right there close. And I think the fact that everybody started to try to feed off that was even made it a bigger, I don't know if you could just say, it just made it more easier for travel. That means your fans can travel with you, and that's what you want. You want to be able to have your fans travel with you, to be able to follow you and go to the games. Just like if you would look at like college, or you look at the NFL, or you look at that, you can be able to, your fans can travel with you. So I kind of like that part of it, and that makes it easier for the teams financially to be able to grow financially. When you got new teams coming in and they're starting out from ground zero and they ain't got to do a whole lot of traveling, that's financial ease on the teams that they can grow from. So that's what I really like about the AAL2 and the AAL itself.
That's a great point, and that's something that we didn't actually touch on with Virginia, is that the fans can travel with you, especially to a game like against the Predators, regardless if it's in your arena or theirs. I would imagine there's going to be some crossover there, which is good for both teams realistically.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that sticks out to me in the AAL2 and the AL as well, is that they keep in mind that this is a business. Teams have to be able to be money conscious while they're
exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense to me. But
we
kind of talked about it there. You have the Carolina Predators, you got the Peach State Cats, you got all these different teams in the region that have rich histories in their own right, that can obviously work to build some of those rivalries that we talked about like a moment ago with the Eagles and the Panthers and all that. So which team in particular? Obviously, I imagine the Predators pretty high on that list, but are there any other teams that you kind of look to build that rivalry with in your region?
Honestly, the rivalry is Peach State.
That's fair.
Because Peach State, we did a lot of battles with Peach State when we were in EIF. So it's really Peach State. Hats off to the Predators. They've been around for a few years. They have a steady organization. Their organization has really been stabilized. You know what I mean? So to grow that in-state rivalry, that's just kind of like, when Carolina plays Duke, they call it the backyard brawl, and then you got, the in-state with Carolina and North Carolina State. So hopefully we can kind of like, build those kind of rivalries up to where fan wise, financially wise, and just entertainment wise, we can be able to build that up and make it grow, and hopefully, make something real big out of it. That would be great.
Absolutely. Any fun ideas for the potential rivalries with the Cats or the Predators?
Right now, not right now. We have a new logo with ourselves as with the Aviators. It's ground zero to the end zone. So and like the Predators, they always on the prowl, and like Peach State Cats, same thing. It's kind of like how do you create that magic where it's like, people be like, yo, we got to go see this game. We got to go see this game. And I think with Peach State, their D coordinator, Coach Sanders, me and him, we used to play against each other, and it's a battle. It's just a battle with him. So it's like the battle of the minds that, been knowing arena football. I think that's why Peach State, I think, is going to be the highest on the list, because of the friendship that me and Coach Sanders have, and Coach Monty, Coach Monty has, the owner of the Peach State. That rivalry with them, and what they bring to the table and the competition that they bring to the table, it makes me want to build my team up to want to be able to have that competition against them. And the same thing with the Predators. He always brings a group of guys in, and with us, some of his guys that he have are going to know my guys. So it's going to be a competition level with there. So it's kind of hard to say what can that magic be out of it, because it's gonna really be like, friends on friends, and they got to look at each other when they go home. So that's gonna be interesting right there.
Definitely. On that note, if you're watching this and you have any good suggestions for what we could name some of these rivalries and, maybe build up the hype a little bit, please, by all means, drop them in the comments below. We will definitely take them all into consideration and see if we can pick a great name for some of these awesome in-state rivalries. But obviously, we talked about it a little bit ago. You have the background in the AAL. You have the background in the AL too. I imagine with your experience, you've got ties in many leagues around the world right now to help players kind of develop and get to the next level. Talk to me a little bit about some of the players that you've coached over the years that have kind of made those leaps and kind of paved those paths for future players in the AAL.
Wow, that's I don't know how to say it. Like if you ask some of the players, they call me the loudest. I even heard fans say I'm that kind of like the loudest. My guys know that I'm a very, very aggressive coach. I'm very, very aggressive. But in the part of being so aggressive, I build them up. I don't tear them down. I kind of like make it make sense. You know what I mean? If it doesn't make sense, why did you do it? So if it makes sense, okay, good. I'm not going to praise you when you do a good play. I'll be like, yeah, that's a good job. But what I teach my guys is if you're doing a good job, it's not a lot of praise to be doing because you're doing a good job. Is when you mess up is when I get on you, because then we know how to fix that problem. I guess that's how I work backwards. I was coached like that. Even when I was in college, my coach never praised me when I did good stuff. He never praised me when I did good. He always got on me when I did bad, because if I did bad, we correct the bad and it never happens again. So now he can just look at me and be like, there you go, dog. That's how you did it. You did it. There we go. And that was it. And I just learned it, and it made me feel good that way. Even when I played overseas in Germany, Coach Cliff, he was the same way. And I was like, is this something just natural? Is it just me? Am I just attracting people that just don't want to tell me when I do good? They build me up when I did bad. That's what you want, if you look at it that way. And that's how I think I look at to my coaching now. I've coached a lot of guys like Jonathan, that was his first year playing arena football. He came from semi-pro, and he's very coachable, and he just listened. He got picked up by the Mississippi Wolfpack. RJ, he played at Shaw University. He played nose, and he was another one. Like one time, he even talks about that to this day. He'll be like, Coach, I did bad and you wouldn't pull me out. I said, what am I pull you out for? I left him in. He was dog tired. I said, you got to give me another play. He was dog tired. He come back then after the game, he come in, he said, Coach, I know why you did it now, because I see the mistake that I did wrong. I said, there you go. So that's the way I coach. I'm very aggressive, but it's a build aggressive. And that's just how I am.
Absolutely. And that's a good way to be. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a player and you can clean up some of your weaknesses in your game, at the end of the day, you're going to become a better player, each play, each game, and eventually, make your way to where you want to be. And that's
exactly.
So before I let you get out of here, is there anything you want to say to Aviators fans that are excited about the return of the team in 2026?
Just get in the cockpit, get ready to take flight. It's going to be a nice ride.
I love it. Also, I wanted to say I love your guys' logo. It looks awesome. So
I appreciate it. Big shout outs to AJ. Big shout outs to AJ. He hooked me up on my logo.
I should have known. Yeah, great logo. So
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your time tonight, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look forward to having you.
All right. Have a good night.
Absolutely. You too.
How many times a week? Like three or four times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, now we are joined by B. Glenn from the Tri-City Rivergators. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Almost morning, huh? Yeah, I'm
Doing
doing
well.
pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm excited to have you on. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty good. Just kind of settling down a little bit at the house. I had a pretty busy day, so
Very nice.
feeling pretty good. Yeah, feeling pretty good.
Definitely.
What time zone you guys in? 'Cause it's 11 o'clock over here.
I'm in the mountain time zone. I'm 2 hours behind, so I'm actually the reason this show gets recorded so late. So I apologize ahead of time.
No problem, no problem.
Actually, I have to do this after my kids go to bed, so that's typically.
Hey, I understand. I just laid mine down not too long ago, so I definitely understand.
Awesome. On that note, I won't take up too much of your time, but
Yes, sir.
I did want to ask you, and obviously this is kind of a big deal to me in particular, but I noticed that you are doing a kind of a group combine with the NLFA, the Mississippi Wolfpack, and the Louisiana Rouxgaroux.
Yes,
How
sir.
did that all come about? I think that's a great opportunity for players.
So it's all about who you know a little bit. I have a lot of people that work for me, man. One of them, my Coach AG. He has ties to the arena world, to HBCUs. He has quite a handful of connections, man, and he knows his way around. And he does these showcases, which he call combines now and pro days, for the players, for his returning players, and how he farms his system is through athletic engineering. So the guys that he trains, he gives them the opportunities too. And now those guys, we train them and they come to the Tri-City Rivergators too, if they want to pursue a career here, if they want to go back to college, if they want to go try to get on the Rouxgaroux and get to an NAL team, or the Mississippi Wolfpack and want to get to an AAL team. I just kind of we look at things from a different microscope. Um, like it's everybody, if we pump good players into the other teams too, it makes it fun. It makes it more fun for me. You know what I mean? Like now I know, hey, we got this guy over here. And like one or two of our guys went to the Mississippi Wolfpack. We played them last year. Right. So uh we're gonna get those guys, we're gonna see those guys again. That's gonna create that rivalry, that's gonna create that fun, man. You know what I mean? Like actually bringing back fun. It's a lot of guys they real stiff around here, man. About it. Want to elevate a little bit more. Let's go. Let's have some fun with this. Let's come to the combine. Let's get together and y'all come too and come find some players. It's for everybody. So that's what we doing in Tri City, man. We trying to get more players attracted to our league, from other leagues. It might be some IFL guys, they from Georgia, but they got to play in freaking Wisconsin, and make $250 or $300 a game, maybe have enough money to fly back home and see his kids and go back because he's chasing his dream. We need to make that way more better for um, these players and their lives and their family, because they bringing us entertainment, they bringing us, revenue supposed to be, with our venues, and they bringing that stuff to us. So we got to give it back some kind of way.
No, I love that. And I was curious. I mean, if a team outside of the four that we listed or the four groups that we listed wanted to be a part of that, who would they reach out to? And is there any sort of entrance fee or anything like that for players?
They would reach out to Coach AG. I have him deal with the players and the coaching, the strategy, and how he does his pro days. I'm just advocate for him. I'm the GM of the Rivergator, so anything dealing with Rivergator operation, marketing, and I'm also a part owner too. Me and my dad own the team, so we keep it real base like that, baseline, because it just certain things we have, that he has more of a quick answer on than I would. But from my knowledge, on how he's doing this, yes, it's for every player. Any player that wants to be able to be a part of this, they come down there December 31st. You say what team you from, let's go. There's no rivalry in that area. You know what I mean? It's guys need the opportunity. It's coaches might need to have this. They look at this in a way like, hey, let's all jump on board for that. And make that great. Because that's what we're trying to do essentially anyway, and holistic, because of the fact that we have the AAL now, and we had the AAL too. So that makeup really, really brings in a more eyes to us, because now we're developing and people seeing results, and you want to make sure they keep seeing it, So yeah, that's my take on that.
No, I think it's brilliant, honestly, and I'm I'll have to get AG on here at some point to get a couple more answers on that, because I saw it come about, and first of all, I love the fact that it's not just AAL and AAL2. You brought in Louisiana, which is obviously in the NAL, which obviously that doesn't happen a whole lot. So I thought that was awesome that you guys are willing to collaborate on something like that. But then also, it's just all about providing opportunities for the players. So I mean, if you not only have a chance to be seen by AAL teams, you have a chance to be seen by an NAL teams, and then also AAL2 and NLFA. So I thought it was a great opportunity for players, and I'm looking forward to hopefully it happening a lot more often in the future. But on another note, obviously, as you just mentioned, the AAL is coming back for 2026, which is kind of the professional version of the AAL2. And with that, there were some questions as to the teams that were going to fill out that league. And at one point, or at multiple points throughout the process, some people had speculated that Tri-City might be one of those teams. So I wanted to ask you, is there any hope or eventual desire to move up to the professional level, or is that something that's kind of on the back burner for right now as you kind of focus on the AL2?
At this moment, I'm gonna. If the idea is being explored, but I wouldn't be too hasty on it. Right now, I like the AL2. I like the way I'm getting to develop these players. I'm going to start bringing in more younger guys. Our team was really young last year. I think next to probably, no offense, Enrique, if you see this, probably next to Enrique uh, was probably 28. So, we just kind of, they rookies, everybody were rookies, at that point. We had a few veterans though. Mike Lee was a veteran. Damian Manning was a veteran. Big Mike was a veteran. So we had some veterans too. So, but for the most part, they were younger guys, never played. And we still competed, So that kind of takes that, for them to see it and feel it and understand that they got more time. And once a team actually does that, we could be pretty dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So I like where we at. I want to keep developing, and yes, it's being explored, but you also never know. Anything can happen.
That's fair. That's fair. And, you kind of mentioned a moment ago, you've already had some players move up to the AAL with Mike Lee, Jazz Hex. There probably are some guys that I'm missing in that list, to be honest. Have there been any others that moved up this offseason that I did not list?
Jay Hicks, that's Jason Hall, and you said Mike Lee. I think it was just those two. I believe they picked up one of our linemen that we had recently, but we cut him not too long ago. But he was a very good sized guy, humble guy. You know, Mike Lee, very feisty guy. Jason Hall, hey, he got the heart for this, man. So I'm proud of them guys. I'm glad they got where they need to be at. We pushed them. We made them push on their social medias. to get active on that. And I encourage all players to do that. Take this time for your content. You see what my guy Sam's doing, our content. Me, I'm keeping this, so I can save this for later, right? Content is gold, guys. Y'all have to understand this. If you're What are you doing it for? You're doing it just to look at it later and say, damn, I made a cool ass play. Or you looking at it like, hey, I can market myself because people love watching me do this. It's people that can't do it. It's people that wish they could. It's people that's, you know, cancer survivors and they played football once before and you wear the number that they played in and now they love who you are. It really goes just that deep. That's how much this country loves this sport. And we need to maximize every, nuances and niches of it. So we do that, you formulate a formula that can't be broke. I ain't gonna say better than the NFL, but it could be somewhere along those lines where people will love the grit where that we build in our sport, in the arena football, indoor football. It's the grit that come with it. These guys got some serious grit, and it's like, damn, it's beautiful to watch it because you only got so many games to make it happen, and you got so many games you can miss or not miss and play in good or anything, and it's short, short time. You guys short field, so everything is maximized, and it's the best time to really get your name out there. You know what I mean? So I encourage all guys, get on your social media, man. Post it, your workout, what you eating, what you doing, family time. Um, Hell, if you doing if you telling your story about when you was a kid and you grew up and loved to play football, tell people that shit, man. You know, just tell them, tell your story,
Build a brand. No,
build
I
a
love
brand.
there's value in you utilizing your platform as a player to hopefully find other ways of making money, right? That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So yeah, this content has many forms of value, it like you mentioned. So I'm glad you put that out there, and for any players that may want to get into this world, feel free to reach out. Happy to help you guys start a podcast, get into content creation, anything you could possibly do. We're always happy to help. So,
and if they do that, I'm sorry, I'm already cut you off. My mind started buzzing, right? So any guys that's watching that, he just sent out an invite to basically collab and get your insight. He could jump on y'all show. If y'all close by, you can jump on his show. Can create a whole podcast for the room. It's endless. And the possibilities endless. I'm sorry, I just had to add that, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Definitely looking forward to partnering with any and all players. I mean, we like to have insight from players and coaches and owners and all of that. Because I mean, I can talk about football all day as a fan, but I don't have the insight you guys have. So that's definitely why we always like to keep that pathway open for players. But talk to me a little bit about your goals for the 2026 season. I mean, obviously a championship, but I mean, other than the on-field goals, what else do you want for the Tri-City Rivergators moving forward?
The more likely thing that's going to happen is that we're going to get really, really good, right? And reason being is because my guys, it's a mindset thing. It's all a mindset reset when it comes to us. We have my liaison. Her name is Erica Savage. She's a life coach that we have, and she comes on every week and she talks to these guys and she teaches them how to use your neurons in your brain. Listen to me real quick. How to use your neurons in your brain to rebirth a vision on what you need to do in that moment without any emotion. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's exactly what it is. She was in a car accident, real bad car accident. And y'all can go to my website and check this out. You can check her name out, her books on there. It's www.rivergatorfootball.com. And you can check out her story. And she was in a bad car accident. It was raining, truck hit her. She went under the truck. They had to pry her out of there. Head hit the steering wheel. Boom. She basically turned into a vegetable. Um, she's my cousin actually, and she's my first cousin. And she, we thought we lost her, but she had a will to some God-given will to fight back and to become the person she is now. She was a liaison of CNN. She did things for CNN. She met the Pope, the first one for the other one, not this one now, but the one that passed away. Um, she like high ranking in the military. She's very prestigious woman, and she had to learn. Her brain capacity went to a 5-year-old, right? And she came all the way back and got, she trained her brain. She reframed her brain. That's the name of her book. Reframed her brain to get past those blocks. Think about if you had to go all the way back to 5 years old, and not remember what you did, and you grown, but you just like, damn, I know I'm supposed to know how to do this because I see other grown people doing it, but I'm not doing it, and she reframed her brain to get to that, to get past those blocks. Sometimes football players, they get to a point where they left high school, they left college, and they got this block, right? They're good players, and because I had this block, they're good players, but it's something that's not you're not getting over yet. Maybe trauma from a coach or from a situation that took them out of college, or they got kicked out the house and they didn't get to pursue their dream because nobody really supported them. It could be anything, that blocked them from really reaching their goal. Or it could be something that's on the field that they're not getting through. It's all mindset. They physically can do this shit. Man, they running into a freaking wall and doing it with a smile on their face. You got to be kind of crazy to do that. You know what I mean? But in order to to actually put it in perspective for these guys, it's more for mental health for them to get them to the next level. So when they do get to the next level, they're thinking on another mindset, not just I'm playing indoor football or I'm playing semi-pro football, or they're carrying themselves, a little better. Now they thinking like, okay, I can really get past this obstacle, this mental block, this whatever I'm dealing with to keep going. You know what I mean? And we do that for our players on our team. We meet with them I think it's Thursday or Friday, and give them that. So it's a mindset thing for us.
Hey, mindset's important in life in general, not just football. So I think that's a great opportunity for players to like you said, reframe their mind and prepare themselves to be a professional player, or just to be a better person in general. So
Exactly, bro.
I think that's awesome. Any final words for the fans before I let you get out of here for the night?
Yeah, man. We got a trial. We just had our trial. I think it was a couple weeks ago in Huntsville, Alabama. Went pretty good. We had Fox 54 come out. Shout out to Valentina. And she came out. She did a story on us. She did a nice little piece. It got around the town a little bit, so we got some Rivergator fans that's really looking forward to this. So y'all come out, y'all go visit www.rivergatorfootball.com. You also follow us on Instagram, Tri-City Rivergator, TriCityRivergator.com. Facebook is Rivergator only, just Rivergator. All right. And just God bless to everybody in the AL2 that just came in. Hey man, let's make this happen, man. Hey, we might get an ESPN deal in a minute.
There you go. There you go. Love it. Well, thank you for your time tonight, Coach, and I'm looking forward to this season. Can't wait to see what 2026 has in store for the AL2 and the Rivergators in general.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Shady. I'll let
Definitely
you,
have a
man.
great night, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. We as we always do, we'll close out the episode with the commissioner himself, Mr. AJ Roque. AJ, man, it's been a packed off season for the AAL2. It seems like every week, sometimes every day of the week, there's a new team coming. The past couple of weeks have been pretty intense. So, I mean, I can only imagine you've been running around like a crazy person as of late to try and get all these teams on board and obviously make all this work. What's it been like for you in particular?
Like a kid in a candy store, man. Helping continue build this league. The AAL2 and the AAL. So it's been fun and exciting, and we got a lot of things that's in store.
Absolutely. I alluded to it a little bit earlier. Obviously I'm not going to break any news here tonight, but definitely you want to be keeping a close eye on the AAL2 page, the AAL page, for any upcoming announcements, because I'm sure there are going to be some announcements coming soon that the fans are really going to enjoy on top of all these teams that you've added. So talk to me a little bit about the decision to bring back the AAL in 2026. I mean, obviously that's kind of a huge move for the AAL2 as well. So what led to that decision for you guys?
Finally being able to have, real professional teams, right? Everybody's like, oh, why take over the AAL and not bring back the professional side? Because there's not many true professional teams out there, right? IFL has theirs, they're in another class. AF1 is starting to build now, right? I believe they're on the road to getting back where, arena football used to be, back how the old AFL used to be. And we finally had that opportunity to have professional teams, and as the NAL too, they have some great teams in there as well. And here we are, 5 years later, well, 4 years later, but once the season comes around, 5 years since the AAL has took the field, as a professional league.
It's kind of crazy how that all happened. I mean, who would have guessed 5 years later, here we are, 4 professional teams for the 2026 season. Talk to me a little bit about ultimately the way it all came together. Obviously we know Wheeling and Columbus decided to leave the NAL, most likely due to travel, and now they get to join the AAL, which is very regionally based. But what we don't know is the story behind how the Jersey Bearcats moved up, how the Mississippi Wolfpack decided to move up. I know the Wolfpack had aspirations to be a professional team in the past, but to be completely honest, the Jersey move up kind of surprised me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. So what went into that move for you guys?
Well, with Mississippi, we'll start there first. They wanted to follow the footsteps of the Wheeling Miners, coming to the AL2 and then, moving up the following year. When this was just a thought of the AL coming back, they were one of the first ones I asked, because they have the arena, they have the field, they have everything, right, already in place. So I asked, are you guys ready to, move, the next season? And at first it was no, we'll wait another year, and then as it went on and we started talking more and more about it, they were like, you know what? Eddie was like, let's do it. And here we are, and the AAL is coming back, and, they're a part of that now after winning the AAL2 championship. The Bearcats, kind of also how it came about was, they've been around for, going into their 7th season. And every year they progress, right, with the athletes they bring in. And I think though more of the arena world seen that when they played the minors back in 2024, right, and how close those games were compared to some of the other games, that the minors had. And I think they'd be a perfect fit, to kicking off this 4-team AAL league, right? And because you got to start somewhere, right? And I think the 4 teams that we have in there with Columbus, Wheeling, Wolfpack, and Bearcats, is going to be more competitive than people think, right? Because people see names, right, instead of what's actually being built, on the other teams.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely something. I mean, obviously, if you look at the surface of things, I guess people could overlook some of the moves. But if you really think about it, I mean, one thing that struck me is you now have the 2023 AAL2 champion, the 2024, and the 2025 AAL2 champion all in the same league.
Yeah,
You also have Columbus, which has won championships in multiple leagues. So really, it's a league of champions when you look at it from that perspective. So I anticipate this being an extremely competitive season and an extreme parity. I don't see any one team necessarily separating themselves in a dramatic fashion. Obviously injuries can happen and stuff can change, but organizationally, I think all of these teams stand fairly close together, honestly. So I'm very excited to see, what it all has in store. But, also on the other side of things, I mean, not only were you building the professional side, but then the AAL2 has ballooned, in a good way. You add the Carolina Aviators, you add the Tri-State Panthers, you add the Legion, you add the Jersey Eagles. It just seems like I said, you guys were adding teams week after week after week, and it just slowly ballooned in a good way. How have you been able to make all these connections and make it all kind of come together like this? Because I mean, obviously there was a plan here because you see how it's broken down regionally, and it just makes a ton of sense logistically.
Mm-hmm. So, to be honest, and at first I didn't really think of it like this. This fall league that, they're playing arena football more in the fall now, these leagues. And to be honest, paying attention to those teams that are in those leagues, right? In those areas that we already have teams. Because I really wasn't paying too much attention to it, because usually spring is when you see, arena football. But, these teams and the other part was a lot of these leagues have teams that are spread out. Right. So you see which teams can make travel, which teams can't, right? Which teams look good on the field, with uniforms and, everybody has the correct helmet on and stuff like that. And now you hone into, okay, what teams can actually make it in the AAL2 with what we're trying to do. And it's like a process of elimination. Mid-Michigan Grizzlies. Perfect. We had only Outlaws, the Avengers last year, and it was just those two. We started the season. Now we got the Michigan Raptors, Mid-Michigan Grizzlies, and the Ohio Legends. So now you got 5 teams out there now. And that was one of our biggest concerns going to this offseason was getting those guys' teams out there.
Absolutely. And that honestly, that was the one region that really stuck out to me. You go from just the Avengers and all of a sudden now you have 3 teams in Michigan. And it was virtually overnight, because you added the Grizzlies and then it was like the Raptors like a couple of days later or a week later maybe. So I mean, obviously some of these moves make a little bit of sense. Obviously Jeff, who was previously with Avengers, are involved with the Raptors, so that kind of was a natural transition for him. But I mean, how did it come about with the Mid-Michigan Grizzlies? When did you first connect with them?
Honestly, about 3 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago, yeah.
That's crazy. I would have expected it would have been a lot earlier than that.
No, again, it's more, paying attention to, what these leagues and teams have going on. And that's really what we've been doing.
That makes sense. And I mean, honestly, a lot of these teams.
Well, they always say, somebody's always watching, right? When you don't know it.
Yeah, 100%. You're not wrong. Obviously, Mid-Michigan right now is playing in the Winter Indoor Football League with the Pittsburgh Outlaws and a couple other teams that have participated in the AL2. So definitely doesn't hurt some of those where you can kind of build on some of those rivalries they've got going on over there as well. If you don't mind me asking, what are the entrance fees for the AL2 for prospective teams that may be looking to join?
For the AL2, it's $1,000.
Extremely reasonable. I don't think I've ever heard of that low of an entrance fee. So I mean, from a team owner's perspective, definitely makes a lot of sense. If you're starting a team off and trying to make a jump to the professional level, that's awesome.
We're not here to take people's money, right? We're not here to compete with any other league. We're none of that. Like, we want to build and create.
That makes sense. Another question, again, if you don't want to say this quite yet, completely understand. When do you anticipate the AAL2 season starting in 2026?
April 18th, we'll have an exhibition game against the AAL2.
Oh, sorry. So that's the AAL season kicking off?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And when does the AAL2 season kick off? April
11th.
Okay, perfect.
So, I mean, really, your real kickoff is April 25th for the AAL. If you,
gotcha.
You don't want to count the exhibition.
Makes sense. So, I mean, obviously a pretty good opportunity for the players in the AAL2 to kind of get some professional or some film against some professional teams. So obviously a great opportunity for them, and then also a great opportunity for the AAL teams to scout the AAL2 talent. Right. Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, and like always, it's strategically, put that way for reasons that, to come and make things interesting in the AAL and AAL2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. And obviously you're building more of those bridges to the professional level for players, which is what the AAL2 is all about. So always love to see that. Man, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head other than those questions at the moment. I think we've basically covered everything that is public for the most part. Is there anything else that you want to kind of enlighten fans about in terms of either of the leagues for 2026 yet?
No. Well, yes, actually, there will be some, I guess you'd call it interleague games, right? With AL1, AL2. Probably looking at like 2 or 3. The AL having 9-game season. The AL2 having a 8-game season. Right. And eventually we want to grow both leagues into 10 games if we can in 27. But again, everybody has to be able to do it. Can't just be, majority of the league, and then you leave out the 2 teams or whoever that's been stable, right? And you leave those behind. Now you lose teams. Right? You don't want to go backwards and lose somebody just because you want to, add a game or 2.
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Not necessarily a bad thing to have a short season either. You definitely keep fans interested and invested for the future seasons, I think, doing that. So love to hear that. Very excited for the 2026 season. Like I said, I've been talking to you off camera a lot about all the additions. I honestly am. If people are not already aware, like the AAL2 is definitely going to put some people on notice in 2026 as the premier developmental league. And I think, honestly, it's going to garner a lot more attention from teams at this level that want to eventually be, on that level with the AL2, that while it's not professional football and it's developmental football, it's run professionally. It's arranged professionally, you know. So I think that's going to be the thing that separates the AL2 from a lot of other leagues at this level, which I'm excited to see as it continues year after year. Any final thoughts for the night?
We also have our, target that we're looking for 2027 already for the AL2. So
in terms of number of teams or
adding teams, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. So, again, if you're a prospective team owner and you're looking to join the AL2, while it sounds like they're almost done with or already done with expansion for 2026, they are still taking potential teams for next season or maybe even this season. You never know. You might convince them otherwise. So,
no, our schedules they're finished. They're done for both leagues. The AL1 schedule has been done since September 16th. And, the AL2 schedule just finished up being done. And, our next league meeting, November 15th, is when, everything is finalized. So you should see the AL2 schedule and AL schedule out shortly after that, before Thanksgiving.
Very nice.
Right, because we don't like the rush, because you never know what happens in that meantime. So we're not going to rush to get a schedule out. Like I always say, when something comes out from the AL2, like it's real, and that's what it is. It's just not being put out to make it, make us look good.
Makes sense. Obviously, you don't want to put out fluff and then it turn around and not end up coming to fruition. That's bad for everybody involved. So,
right. And sometimes it may not be fluff that, other leagues or teams, whatever, put out. You just never know what happens. But when we put it out, it's set. It's set and it's already in motion.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And like I said, I'm very excited for 2026. There's honestly, I'm all in on AL2 and AL this season, and obviously we will have a lot of coverage on Shady Sports Network moving forward in the future for all the teams, the leagues, and then also written and video. So if you like to read your content, we also got you covered there. So definitely check out ShadySportsNetwork.com. In fact, we will have another AL2 article coming out in the next couple of days.
Yep.
So.
And also you should see some more entertainment, in the AL2 games, also AL1 games as well.
Really?
Yeah, when the season comes around.
Interesting. A little nugget there for fans and looking to make sure they're getting their money's worth in 2026. So
exactly, the fan experience is definitely going to be better in both leagues for 26.
Definitely. So you said schedules are coming out soon, next month or so. When do you anticipate season tickets going on sale for most of these teams, if they're not already?
Columbus already dropped their season tickets when it's coming on sale, and their suites and stuff. And everybody else they'll be following suit. They're getting their trials together, and again, everybody when they're ready and everything's locked in is when they'll put out their information.
Absolutely. And actually, come to think of it,
I think Wheeling Wheeling. Yep, it's not a rush for our guys. Like those guys, they've been around, right? They know what they're doing.
True.
Columbus True. and the Miners.
That's very fair. And what I was about to say is I think the Miners actually do have their season tickets listed already. Now that I think about it, I believe I saw that on their Facebook page the other day. So if you are looking to get season tickets for some of these teams, definitely make sure you're checking out each one of their individual social medias, keeping updated, follow all the teams, follow the league pages, stay keep an eye on the website, stuff like that, because you don't want to miss any of the updates coming for 2026. I assure you there is some fun stuff to come. So very excited about this league this season. Any final thoughts for fans before we get out of here for the night?
Yeah, just give us a shot. This will be the first year bringing back the AL. And that's why we left it at 4, right, to build and make sure it's competitive and sustainable, right, to be able to get to 27.
Makes perfect sense. Very excited about the future of the league, like I said. So if you're a fan, like I said, make sure you're following on all the social medias and following along. There's going to be a lot to come. And on that note, we will definitely catch you guys later on this off season. Stay tuned right here on Shady Sports Network as well. We'll have plenty of content coming out for you guys. With that, have a great night. Thank you for watching. Appreciate all the support.
Retro.